Which
Hold
book?
on.
Tyttö vieramaan paljaat jalat kuljettamaan läpi myrskyn ja metsän jumalten valtakuntaan. Kasvot varjoissa sää, aavupuut kuiskimaan. Tuon nimen, jonka vain harvat laskee huuliltaan.
Alrighty. Welcome to the Will-O-Wisp Woods, everybody. Tonight we are in episode 47, which is a recap. We got a recap, episodes 1 through 46. So, we're a little late in starting just because of the fact that Discord Streamer Mode is a wonderful application edition in which it decided it wanted to hide my screen capture. So the little screens that you see for our names and characters and such did not exist because Discord said, no, 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 Streamlabs, no. I think the fuck not. So.
How generous of it.
Right? So, now we are back. I am plugging in my headset because it's yelling at me that it's low. Anyway, so welcome. We're happy to have you. A little late, but it is a recap and Q&A, so we're not as restricted by the time constraints we usually are. So, first off, of course, welcome to the Will-O-Wisp Woods. We're so happy to have you. If you are new here, please feel free to say hi. We are not going to bite. Well, might, but that depends on if you have food or not. Nonetheless, we are back after our short hiatus due to my traveling, mostly, but I don't know what that was. That just threw me entirely off track. We are back after our hiatus, mostly due to my traveling, but we are happy to be back. We are ready to get moving forward, but however, after so many hiatuses and so many new people joining in to say hi and join us on this journey, we figured about time, though it's a little bit awkward of an episode number, we figured why not do a recap and Q&A. So that way, new watchers have the ability to get to know some of our players as well as their characters, and if you have any questions for me, as the DM, I will answer what I can, but I can't answer spoilers, so keep that in mind. Nonetheless, we will be recapping all of 1 through 46 of the Journey of Grandiasha. So, am I doing all of it, or do you all want to bounce around with your favorite parts? Because we can always do that as well.
We're going to just hop in with fun parts.
Okay.
I think we should.
Hop in with fun parts.
First part, the stone. To this day, I've heard that it is still. Legend has it that it's still pelting through the air.
If you want, I can read out those,
In Nyla's
those
words.
snippets that I made. If that's helpful for the random scenes that I have written down like that.
Of course. So, obviously, every great story has a beginning. The Journey of Grandiasha started off with 3 players. These wonderful characters in this wonderful world of Grandiasha. Grandiasha being a homebrew world of my creation. These 3 began their journey into East Grandiasha. Pixie, May, and Nyla. The 3 of them were going about their day, as they usually would, before seeing smoke. Heading towards the smoke, they found a blacksmith's shop on fire. Unsure of whether it was an accident or not, the 3 quickly got into action and started not only directing people to get back and helping the guards with that, but also getting in and saving the dwarf that happened to be trapped inside. After not only helping this dwarf, but helping the guards to attempt to bring this fire down before it spread to the buildings nearby, the group found out that the dwarf had been speaking gibberish of some kind of voice. Nonetheless, they began following this line of information from the probably half crazy dwarf at the time, and not only learned of what seems to be some strange entity that was forcing him to craft a obsidian ring, but a number of other things. To get more information, they had managed to track down the son of the dwarf, a hunter whose cabin was just outside the city and along the trees. Tracking down this son and following that information trail, they found that the hunter's cabin was actually empty, left to its own devices, and with a little bit of investigation, the group had found what seems to be a trail of blood. Following it inside first, they find that the house is somewhat ransacked, a little bit destroyed on the inside here and there, based off of where the damage was. But no dwarf. So, following the trail of blood, they managed to find themselves deep in the forest, where their first real battle began. Some sort of creature had gotten a hold of the dwarf. A strange daemon. This ram creature with a tail made of spines, and this rotting smell that came from it. It's very grotesque. And May and Nyla, as well as Pixie, fought off this strange creature to save the dwarf. This started May's tradition of falling once, at least, in every combat. So, after the group had finally managed to bring down this demon, they helped the dwarf who had been being held down in a pond to try and get information, seemingly, from a creature that seemed to speak no common, and the dwarf spoke none of whatever gibberish it was speaking. So, with what little the group had managed to gather, they had found that there was more afoot than they had originally thought. So, continuing on and learning more, they had found that the temple had actually healed the dwarf and managed to help bring him to a cognitive point that allowed them the knowledge of what this voice had actually been speaking. Apparently, something called a blood gem, though none of them really knew what it was, and the dwarf didn't seem privy of the information himself either. The story of the Journey of Grandiasha truly begins. However, sadly, Pixie departs the group, finding it a little more pertinent to continue their own life, which we're all okay with, and we hope nothing for the best, or nothing but the best. However, to fill in this gap, this hole that the party's now faced with, They follow the clues and information that they've gathered throughout the city and from people who have actually gotten a little bit of knowledge of what these blood gems seem to be. They begin their journey north, attempting to follow the information as best they can. However, on their travels, it seems their travels are going to only get that much more interesting. Thank you for the resub. It's kind of crazy that you've been subbed for 16 months now. But, nonetheless, the group continues on their strange journey, only to find that it's only about to get so much weirder. As a fully armored dwarf chasing a squirrel bursts from the tree line ahead of the group far on the trail. Thus, Dwindle joins in the fray. Our wonderful group, now with an additional stout stranger who has no lay of the lands whatsoever and seemingly got lost, now heads north still after Dwindle had learned that they were hunting what seemed to be quite a powerful gem that those of Phlegm and Broth know very little of, other than the strength that comes with it and the danger. This brought him to continue his journey with them, alongside the fact that he was pretty sure he'd get lost otherwise. The group continues forward, further north, further and further through East Grandiasha. And after a grueling travel, they find themselves in Crows, or at least at its gate. The gates of Crows had been closed and locked up and guarded by the guard of the city, the soldiers, the militia. It seems something was going on in Crows, though they weren't willing to disclose to the outsiders what. With a little finagling and a wave of one's hand, some magic brought about truth to the group, though quiet so that the guard would not get in trouble or that mass panic would not be caused. It seemed that something within Crows was causing problems, a beast of some kind. A strange monster that delved deep into the night and honestly was wreaking havoc on not only the city but its populace. And of course, the group, needing to go further north and also being who they are, they managed to decide that they were going to help the city. Mostly because it was in the way. But, nonetheless, they found themselves heading around the city's wall, trying to find an entrance, only to find that they were being followed by a strange little person on a mount made of metal. What was initially assumed to be a gnome came closer and found that this strange figure, though small, was much smaller than a gnome, upon a great metal beast, a fox with a turtle's shell. they introduced themselves as Odile and Rovan, our wonderful and new addition to the group that really needed to get into the city due to the fact that the city had things that interested this little artificer, this tinkerer. So, using this tinkerer's knowledge as well as their ability to create things, they managed to create some kind of grappling hook that the group used to get on top of the wall after Dwindle had attempted to get in and failed horribly, only to, as a dwarf, make the stone wall that much stronger and better on accident.
I don't think it was an accident.
Fix it, Felix. Whoop whoop.
Aye.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
Mhm.
Knowing
Hey,
Dwindle,
during the
He's
attack,
got
my
priorities.
wall didn't break. During the attack, my wall didn't break.
funny enough, though we'll never truly know if Dwindle meant to do it or didn't, the group managed to get on top of the wall. But, though they are in good intentions, ideas of those that wish to make themselves solutions usually turn into problems. As getting on top of the wall, the group found themselves now atop a wall with guards who were patrolling to make sure that the beast did not get out. Though they probably weren't expecting people to try and get in. And with some quick thinking, or no thinking at all, one of the group decided the best course of action was to use this story of some beast to finagle the group in. During their travel north, they had come across what can only be known as an owlbear, a creature that stalks the woods at dusk and usually hunts solitarily. And after stepping into its territory, the group found themselves face to face with such a creature and brought it down. They then skinned it, used any parts they could, and kept what they could, and continued their travel. And it seems that though originally they weren't planning on keeping it, the pelt came in much more handily than they expected. As Dwindle covers himself and takes a leap of faith right into a barrel of fish. Already smelly, and now a little dirtier than he was before. The strange dwarf then bolts into the city, and using the distraction, the newly found addition to the group, as well as those that have been traveling together for a while, make their way down the wall as quickly as possible and into the city themselves. Now, they search for their lost and rather all over the place dwarf is what we will call him for now. With some asking around, searching, splitting up, one of the group actually finds Dwindle, finally, in his own natural habitat. Oh. Haha. You could tell I've done this before.
I'm so sorry. Was that
You're
just
fine.
me? That logged out so bad. Apologize.
You're
We're
fine.
good.
So, first stream, nah. But nonetheless, the group finds their way into the city, and asking around as well as looking around and seeing what they could possibly find in the city to try and narrow down the search of where their dwarven companion is. They find a rather interesting spot, and likely would have been the first place they had searched originally if they had known that it was here. But where there is a blacksmith, there is a dwarf. Dwindle was hard at work already on something at this blacksmith's in the northern part of the city, or northeastern. And with finding him, the group then, knowing where their group member was, decided to find lodging. And their lodging being found within the Tiefling's Horn.
That was the one in
Nope,
That was
Crestia.
you are
Crestia.
right. You are right. Crestia is.
Which one was Crestia?
Mini crows.
Crows.
Gross.
I made
Yeah,
the
let me
names a
find
little too close.
I'm looking for the book.
I definitely did not write that down, apparently.
Well, that's because y'all only stayed for a full day.
Time to get kicked out.
You all,
I don't think did we get kicked out? We didn't make a great impression, but
No,
I don't-
because we
I
were
don't
there
think we
that
got-
night
Mm-hmm.
because we left in the morning because
Yep.
that was the night we fought
It was the,
in the warehouse.
it's the
Yeah, we left in the middle of the night to fight the thing,
Archer's
and then
Bridge.
Yeah,
stayed
'cause
the night
we-
after.
Yeah, because that night they got taken by the guards.
Mm-hmm.
Odile.
I think we
Yes,
actually
but let's
stayed there
also
2
not
days.
forget Dwindle passed out on the table, made a
Yep.
dent in the
We were there a
table,
few days.
and then Odd pushed him off the chair.
Mm-hmm.
I
But yeah, I
believe
think
it
we actually
was.
stayed a few nights in that one.
I believe
we
it was
went to
the
quickly.
Archer's Arrow with the wood elf.
There they. Yep.
Yeah, with the wood elf.
So, finding lodging at the Archer's Arrow, the group stayed all of maybe a day and a half at most. After that night, they had heard noises, and most would have searched around or maybe tried to track down whatever it was. But the group, being who they are, immediately began the hunt. And in that same night, managed to successfully find a warehouse. This warehouse, seemingly housing lycans, werewolves. However, the group had not known that just yet. As the battle ensued, and the group managed to bring themselves back together, with Nyla and May going around the side to try and sneak in, and Odile sticking... Nope, it was Nyla and Odile. Because May
Yeah.
and Dwindle decided that going through the front door to be a distraction
Why not?
was their choice, which in the end seemed to help them quite a bit, and also hurt them, though they lost their surprise. the group still managed to get in unnoticed for the most part. And with a little help from each other and a nifty little item that Odile had created on the spot, the group managed to bring down these lichens. And the tradition of May falling at least once in every combat continued. This time, narrowly taking the character. So, with help from what May assumed was an angel at the time, Nyla had healed May and brought her back up. There's an ad playing. Of course there is. Anyway. As the battle went on, the group would take out one or two of the lichens and learned that after the lichen was killed, what took its place was a human, or humanoid at least. However, not for long, as most of them were thrown into one of the warehouse's furnaces.
I bet.
But nonetheless, the group continued, and thankfully, they managed to save the city of crows, but it didn't quite look like it with the bodies lying around. So,
Grateful fools.
though helpful and again in good intentions, it seems that the party finds themselves on the run from crows, heading north towards Crestia once again. Going further north, and the weather only getting more blisteringly cold, they find themselves getting closer and closer to the city of Crestia, the farthest north city in East Grandiasha that you can find, on a map at least. After facing off against the wildlife as well as the wild terrain and the wild weather, they finally managed to reach crows with a few more pelts and a few more claws in hand. Wolves. Wolves, wolves, wolves.
Or pelt.
Mm-hmm. And now in Crestia, the group begins their search for the blood gem once again, thinking that up here nobility is probably better to try and reason with than royalty. So, the group finds themselves searching the city of Crestia and meeting quite a few of the locals. Getting closer with the locals, as well as meeting with them, learning about them, befriending them, buying from them, and using their forges. The chosen lodging of the group, the Tiefling's Horn, that one's correct, I know that much. They spent a whole lot of time there, with who they came to learn the name of Lord, the Crimson Tiefling, whose wonderful skills in the viol and the wonderful, wonderful use of his tail to make drinks as he's playing, housed them, and dealt with most of their shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Most of their shenanigans being a bit problematic for him, others not so much. He put up with them and put them up, and he was very helpful for the group. The group also learned of the explorers and how they may have information, as well as a few of the noble families nearby. With one thing leading to another, the group finds themselves scouring a pet shop, trying to find out what's going on in this place. One finds an underground pet shop underneath said pet shop. The other finds mounts to own. And some find random wildlife that could or could not eat them.
You're mixing things up.
Hmm?
So only Nyla and May went to the pet shop first, and Nyla found the underground, while May decided to.
Found a secret meeting.
Yeah! While Dwindle and Odd were doing something else.
You all were going with the blacksmith to work on something and
Yep.
see if you could get to the blacksmith. And then we're going to meet up with May and Nyla after, if they were still at
Eventually.
the pet shop.
How both me and May left the pet shop without any pets, I will never understand.
Well, it's probably
Like
because
blades of...
Not that pets weren't bought in general, but the two of us, neither of us bought any pets. Never would have seen that coming.
I made up for it.
It's true.
Yeah, Dwindle made
It's
up for
true.
it. Speaking of, I need to have this conversation later. Bookmarked in my head. Continue.
Okay. With Nyla finding the underground pet shop and May finding a little bit more than she bargained for, the two had split, and Nyla had found herself finding a secret exit, a means of getting out. Oop. Well, that's interesting.
I'm so sorry. My internet keeps pooping out.
There he goes. Nonetheless.
Give us the dungeon master.
So, with the two splitting, Nyla finds extra information. May finds herself now face to face with what seems to be a noble family and the manager of the pet shop. The Tarkin's family heir seemingly was speaking with the manager of the pet shop, and because of this, the group seemingly has started their back and forth with a noble figure. Whether or not it was good, well, that's a bit of a coin toss, but this interaction, not so good. Without Nyla's realizing, May was taken by the Tarkin's family. And the Tarkin's family, seemingly, asked May for help. Well, asked being used loosely in this context, of course. But nonetheless, sorry about that. The OBS was going nuts for a second there. So, with May being so kindly prodded for a little bit of assistance, oh, there he goes. Discord had a wonderful just spaz moment. I was worried that my stuff was crashing.
So it's not just me?
I was like, everybody's really still. Hello. Nonetheless.
There's lightning outside. Oh no.
Oh boy.
I apologize if something happens. I promise.
You're fine. You're fine. But now the group has to, due to May and Nyla, the Tarkins ask the group, and by the group, Nyla and May, who then asked Dwindle and Odile if they would be privy to helping. But the two find themselves... No, not at all. You were asked, and Dwindle and Odile said, "Nope, not my problem." But...
Great companions.
Oh, yeah. It was the equivalent of, you got yourself into it. Have fun getting out. So, with Nyla and May left to their own devices as Odile and Dwindle crafted as much as they could in the short time that they had, Nyla and May went searching for an heirloom that had seemingly found itself lost from the Tarkins.
I think we were at that point just searching for the
For
dude
the pet store owner.
and proof that he had.
Yeah.
For the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The heirlooms, or the heirloom and the money. Asking around for information on it, as well as where it may have gone. And
It was mostly just looking for him.
yeah,
We didn't know about the heirloom yet, and so...
I think that came in later. Could be
probably. Nonetheless,
at some point.
The group found themselves not necessarily at the Tarkins' beck and call, but with a job. And Nyla and May decided to try and get it over with as quickly as possible so that they could get rid of this looming debt. With a little bit of snooping and a lot of breaking and entering, they found themselves in a very dangerous predicament. Seemingly, they found themselves in a warehouse, once again, but this time with a creature, an armadillo bear creature, a strange creature that was large and bear-like in the sense of it was...
No, he's...
The face itself was bare, and the body was bare, but it had scales on its back like an armadillo would, and long claws that looked like they were meant for digging. Being chased through this warehouse and into a tunnel that it had come out of, they found themselves in a strange underground area a keep of some kind for even stranger animals. More creatures that were probably not legally acquired, but they took out a few guards, seemingly, some people that were keeping watch for the most part, and then, tired from running, snooping, attempting to deal with the creatures and traps, as well as the bandits and guards, the two decided to try and hunker down in an office they had found and rest. They then woke up in a cage. This cage seemingly was hoisted up and into what seemed to be some kind of strange battle arena, where they had found the manager that they had been looking into because of the gold issue. However, he was not the only one there. A number of masked figures that were watching on in awe of what was about to happen. Across the battlefield opened a gate. And from this gate, a creature appeared with a collar. A large owlin creature of some kind. Tall, lanky, with wings almost like a bat's, but covered in feathers. With long talons and claws, and a beak that was honestly a little too large, as well as antlers protruding from its skull. The battle ensued. The creature fought and fought. May fell.
Per usual.
Mhm.
And Nyla asked for help. Certainly getting it. The battle was then cut short, and May revived very quickly, back to the world of the conscious. And due to the overload of magic, the strange barrier that had been keeping the two in the arena with this creature was shattered, leaving the manager unprotected. Nyla and May quickly tried to get their way up as fast as possible and chase down this manager. However, it seemed with his knowledge of this area and their lacking of knowledge, he was able to escape. Not by much, though. However, with the information garnered and the idea of where the gold was coming, the two were able to at least get the threat that was looming over them cleared up. However, this would not be the last time that they interact with the Tarkins. Now, after their crafting and their enjoying of the blacksmith, Dwindle and Odile, of course, had begun their own little journeys. Dwindle spending most of his time at the blacksmith's, and Odile meeting a few of the locals and befriending two very interesting ones. a Goliath and a goblin, both of which seemingly knowing about each other, neither of them truly talking per se, but with this Cold War between them of silence and busyness, she was asked to check on the Goliath by the goblin, and was able to tell the Goliath that the goblin was doing well as well, making new friends as she did. With their personal interactions, they're learning more and more of the city, and they're helping the city in ways that they can. They then learned of where the explorers were. And using their free time and the time that they were given to try and find as much information as possible, they also learned that going into the frozen wastelands seemed to be a very lucrative idea, as well as the fact that the Tarkins, with Nyla and May helping him as they did, and their use obviously proven.
Good.
This, I believe, is where the heirloom question comes in, as he attempts to be friendlier, quote unquote.
That makes sense.
Certainly after these events. But Odio's looking at me like I'm crazy.
You're missing a few things. Like how after me and Dwindle met the explorers, while May and Nyla were in the arena, we went to the other side of Crestia to the woods
Mm-hmm.
to fight trees,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting. And Care agreed to help us with the tree problem if we went out to the wasteland. After we dealt with the tree problem, we went back to the tavern and talked with Laura for a little bit. And then the next morning, girls finally came back. And then that's when our noble showed up. Yeah.
I am glad that I have players that take notes, because I'm not gonna lie, I did not.
2 notebooks full of notes.
I very much have a bad habit of not taking notes, so I'm
You know,
usually pretty
and it's
good
okay.
at remembering. I remember major plot points, but that's
fair.
But yes, you are right. The dryad was very interesting. You all did very well in that. So
I burned in the forest.
Yes. He burned the forest, and then I got hit once, and I went out.
oops.
What is it with us in burning forests?
What is it with
Pyromaniac.
you all and
What's up
burning
with
anything?
Dwindle and burning stuff?
It's fair.
For pyros.
A little bit.
He
Just
did.
a little.
He did, in fact, burn the lichen.
It's true. That's true.
He destroyed
But
the
Odd has a thing of
smithereens
beheading
that
people.
weekend. Odd has a what?
Oh yeah, we also fought the lichen in the fisherman's bedroom before the warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
That's when we first learned about May. and
Mhm.
how she can turn into a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Forget I learned.
See, I'm so glad that you all can just jump in and
Mhm.
help out like that because you
Oh.
have notes.
And after the warehouse, May followed Nyla, and Nyla talked to Skia for the first time. And May was like, "Oh my God, who is this?" Tries to kill him.
Mhm.
Didn't work out very well.
Nah.
It is very interesting trying to stab a shadow.
You know what else? You know what else we forgot to talk about? Which was, to me, a big plot point? Before we showed up in Crestia, when Nyla tried to go hunting and got lost in the woods.
Oh, you mean
yeah,
the
the
Sphinx?
oracles. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Sphinx.
Yep.
And those Sphinx.
Skia leading us to that dome of just sunshine.
Yep.
I'll also always remember fondly the rolling the nat 20 to find firewood and then the nat 1 to try to find camp again.
You did bring that Sphinx quite a bundle of wood.
Quite a lot of firewood.
I'm still terrified of that place, bro. That place is swarmed with whatever that creature was.
Yeah, that
It's
creature, we were just like, we're going back to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, another thing that you burned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tried burning it.
Another
Didn't
tree that you
burn.
burned specifically.
It doesn't burn. I still think I have a piece of it.
No, remember the pieces that you took turned into the egg.
Mhm.
Right.
It turned
And I
into
keep
that little
track
egg.
of it.
Have you been
Turns out
keeping
I'm
track
pretty-
of it?
Oh.
Yes.
Have you?
Good.
Window still has that egg, yeah.
Mhm.
So what did everybody ask the Sphinx again?
Odile had a few questions.
Yeah, but
Oh,
we
and
did not
didn't-
get to
we
know
didn't
what they
hear
were.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's
We
been
do
quite a
not know what they
process
were.
of keeping it in a hay bin and away from everybody.
Nyla
It is,
asked, was it her fault?
How ominous.
What did you ask again?
I didn't ask anything.
All I remember is Odd was the only one to pass out
Mm-hmm.
from the loss of blood.
No, Nyla passed out too, didn't she?
He almost did.
Okay.
Nyla saw that she was, feeling woozy and said, "No, I think I'm good. All of my questions are done." Odile said, "Nah, I got one more." But it was also it was also based off the drastic nature of your questions and how important it seemed to you specifically. So.
You rolled a lot of dice for mine.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of
What about
dice for mine.
mine, bro? And you rolled so bad.
Okay, so episode 16.
I rolled a few
That's
for
what that
yours.
was.
So that was definitely an interaction.
No, Nyla was knocked out.
Hold on, I'm going back through the notes right now. I got you, don't worry. I just had to figure out where it was. That's 15.
My notes specifically say Nyla is also knocked out.
Just nothing else on the page.
Well, it
Nothing
says
else.
also minus 38 HP.
Knockout by process of elimination.
Nothing else on the page. No anything else. It's
Nothing
just
else. Nyla is also knocked out.
Dwindle asked, is being outside worth it or going back?
Mm-hmm. He also has something about some stoner elements or something.
Yes. What's this strongest metal? And it's unknown to this plane.
Ah.
Nyla asked if it was her fault.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not
Da-da-da-da.
unknown. That's spoiled. That's it. That's not. You're wrong on the knowledge. That's something only I know. You messed up on the writing portion. Because I take notes.
I'm glad all of you do, because I genuinely am just 50 episodes. Shit. But nonetheless, that is true. You are right. You all had puzzles that you had to solve to even get to the Sphinx, and that was something.
Like burning down a small library.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's probably still
What?
burning.
No,
Probably
is.
no,
And roasting the
no,
alvear meat on it.
no. It wasn't small. It was a pretty large one.
Oh yeah,
And
I
that's
also
where I
still,
got my book.
give or
I
take
still
a
want to
few
see
bucks.
part of
I
Dwindle
pissed
roasting
off the
alvear.
goss of knowledge of whoever it is in this plane. Drastically.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and that's also where we learned that May has a fear of heights.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
and where I tried to draw her weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, with the group, well, with Odile and Dwindle finishing up their interaction with the tree, which was interesting to say the least.
Screw that tree.
They were so pretty.
Dwarfs be like, this is why I stick to the rocks.
And wait, didn't Odile find that book?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
On the
I found a
Oh,
Wizard
yeah.
Tome, which I'm learning how to read.
By the way, I still have all those books you gave. Every single one of those arcane books, he still's got.
You were carrying a lot of books,
A massive amount of
like
books.
a lot of books.
loft.
Apparently some of it's smut.
Eddie's having a great time going through your books.
Mm-hmm.
You mean his books?
His books.
Oh yeah.
I know.
But nonetheless, the group reunites, and one half learns of what happened with May, and the other learns of the explorers and their generous proposal. And they decide that following up with that is probably the best idea. So, the group
One
has...
more thing. On our way to Kreshtia, we ran into a small owl boy
Yes.
that bumped into us and managed to clean us all off,
Mm-hmm.
leaving Dwindle very upset.
Scarred for life.
Begging the question, is it okay to orphan a small owl boy? If you plan on adopting him. Is it okay? Probably not. Do I wish we did? Kind of.
A little bit.
I'm happy we
A little
didn't.
bit. That is all. Apologies.
You're fine. Otogen was something else. Nonetheless. So, with the newfound information, the group, of course, now having all of the sides, they decide to follow up on this explorer's idea. Of course, Dwindle and Odile being the first to meet a handful of the explorers, one of which Dwindle making the mistake. Yep, made the mistake of talking about weapons in front of him. But to repay care for the help that they had given, they decide to take on this chance of going into the frozen wastelands.
Don't forget, I met my shield brother. Or a shield brother.
Oh, yeah. And the group as a whole, after a few more days of getting ready, getting things squared away, interacting a little bit more, and crafting a little bit more, they begin their travels into the frozen wasteland. The frozen wastelands, being much colder and much less forgiving than the rest of the continent, the group finds a number of issues, not only with the blistering cold, but with the wildlife, as a massive creature seems to hunt them and quickly lose. But after collecting some parts and continuing their journey after much needed rest, the group finds...
Dwindle went down in that fight, by the way. That's how hard that fight was.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
That was my only fight I've ever gone down.
Don't tempt me. Just
so
wait.
far.
I don't think you're gonna be able to later on down the line. You gotta take your wins while you can.
You'd be surprised. Isn't that right,
Yeah.
James?
You might use one of our own creations against me.
I
Evil.
wouldn't say so. Maybe. But that would take away the surprise.
You freaked me the crap out though when as soon as I realized what the sucker is, I'm like, no, we haven't tested it. Well, I guess we're testing it now. I need to do better on that.
Funny enough, that was a regular Remoras.
Yeah, frames are terrifying.
So, you all continued up with your journey towards these ruins, slowly coming closer. There were wonderful interactions between the players during the travel. The players as well as the NPCs. Learning more and more about each other, as well as what gets under each other's skin. And finally reaching the ruins, the group learned just how long the frozen wastelands have been the frozen wastelands, as a massive castle seemed to just barely poke a few spires out of the snow. Now, taking the time and effort for the group to scout ahead, they found themselves finally in the ruins, going deeper, seeing more, and finding a grand throne room. This throne room seemed to be occupied, but not by the living. And, upon closer inspection, the group finds themselves face to face with what seems to be a skeleton on the throne, with a massive shatter of where what looks to be a large axe had gone through the collarbone and shoulder. But atop the head of this skeleton was a crown. And being
Do
the
we? Do I still have the crown, or does it Odal do?
I have it.
Odile has it in the shell.
Yep.
I remember May and Dwindle chasing our wonderful Rovan around, trying to figure out how his shell worked.
Mm-hmm.
We succeeded.
We did.
Odds later.
She doesn't
Why
know.
is this tipped open a little? Oh, did I not close it all the way?
But
That's the best part. She don't know yet.
I know.
Yet.
being as curious as they are, Nyla is the first to place the crown on her head, out of pure curiosity. and the group, after a wisdom save, is either part of or watching
Fun.
what happens in this throne room. Seemingly some kind of war was coming to a very violent end, and the people within the throne room were seemingly the final straw. Or at least that's what it seemed like, as the group then experienced their excruciating death in this vision. And as each of them experienced this death, though there was no pain, they immediately were awoken from this strange experience. With this experience, the group decided that the crown was safer anywhere but on a head. And Dwindle had no recollection of what actually happened. Just a quick blackout. So, keeping the crown for themselves now, the group looks around a little bit, but not for long, just enough to scout around to make sure there's nothing dangerous going on around the throne room, so that the rest of the group may set up camp. And after setting up camp, the group is surprised as a figure, seemingly
The child.
the child, is definitely also something. The experiences and visages throughout this castle, seemingly causing quite a bit of stir in the party.
Yes, Dwindle getting so mad at a door.
That as well.
I had destroyed that door 25 times to my
I
relief.
was thinking like 40.
He lost track. All I know, it deserved it.
With this strange place causing more than enough issue for the group. They found themselves face to face, or at least a distance away, face to face, with a figure who separates them. The group finds themselves traveling deep within the castle, further and further. The rest of the group, unknown, but they find themselves deep within this castle's walls, deep within this castle's roots, in the dungeon. And now they must find their way out. So, they begin their search and their wandering to find themselves getting lost once again, as this strange place had them caught in one space for some time. It even gets to the point where some of the group decides to just start wailing on the walls. Only to find magic up above, keeping them in place, and destroying the sigil allows the group freedom once again.
You're switching places. The sigil was back with the Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. What
We
tracks?
found the automatons and then the library.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
The library.
There
Oh
it
no,
is.
library.
I have so many traps that I keep in mind. Ooh, it's so much fun. But yes, you are right. It was the automatons, the destroyed and rusted and inoperable beings, these humanoid shapes made of metal that were left next to the door.
Makes me question everything about the history of Grandiasha.
Absolutely.
Good.
We've never asked Eddie about them.
We
I'm
didn't.
honestly afraid to ask.
A little
But-
It's
bit.
okay. Look, Will.
Not only do they find their first showings of whatever this automaton is, they also find a library.
Hmm?
This library full of tomes and books and what Dwindle found as smut. The group finds themselves now searching and looking for any information that they can to find out where they are, where to go, where they could be. Odile breaking from the group, much like May normally would, and finding a figure between the bookshelves in the distance. This figure runs off after being noticed, and Odile quickly chases to a set of double doors that they then
And the
slam
world goes
shut.
black.
Odile
Oh,
trying to
yes.
figure out who this figure is and why they've slammed the doors behind them, opens the doors.
There is. Odile did come across something that again we didn't ask Eddie about, but the brazier, with the eggshells surrounding it.
Yeah, the nest and everything.
The
Yeah,
nest.
yeah. I found the nest in the middle of the thing before seeing the person.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So, Odile opens the doors, and the room is met with darkness. Shadows ooze in, taking over the room, trying to take over the party.
I do.
Trying to. They were succeeding.
Oh yeah, y'all were.
We were all very stuck.
You all were awful at those wisdom saves.
Really, really
Oh,
bad.
The strength
Mike.
saves.
You
Those
want me to be
two.
good at everything?
We were just.
Dwarf down.
Everybody down.
Slowly, more and more, as the shadows were overtaking the group in the library. Nyla is allowed one more bit of help, as the energy to Skia has returned a little bit. A large portion of the shadows is seemingly ripped open. The two bright white eyes that were above the group looking down,
Terrified.
seemingly pained and angry, as suddenly Nyla finds herself sucked into the ring that
About that
plops
simply.
down onto the ground. However, the shadows immediately pull back and out of the library with a loud screech of pain, and the doors are slammed shut behind it once again, hard enough for one of them to almost come off the hinges. But Nyla is nowhere to be found, save for a ring where she was once standing. Of course, this is when Nyla the player had to disappear for a little bit on their wonderful trip, but the group continues forward.
Yes, after Dwindle and May fight over how to hold the ring.
Box.
That was really funny to watch, and I.
My box is gone. It was an heirloom world serving her.
Yes, and then you guys drop the ring, and
Humanoids.
Odd has to go and get the ring before it goes under the bookshelf.
Yeah, because me and him are still too busy arguing to even notice that the ring, which was so important to us, and the box.
Sense.
Yep.
Lock it away. Keep it safe. Nah.
Let's just.
Let's try putting it on it for sure.
Not a good idea.
I
Or-
took
What if
it.
Catherine had
Keep
one
it
of y'all
safe.
put it on while she was inside?
Oh, that would have been terrifying. All I did was put it on a necklace around her neck.
Uh-huh.
That's it. Couldn't keep it in those two hands.
I'm terrified of that ring, but also I want to use it again.
You
See what
have.
happens.
Please
We got
feel
that
free.
We got that really. I like writing down meaningful messages, like quotes from you as these characters. And the shadow said, "You cannot stop me, and I won't let you." And that it gave me chills at the time, and I still have it in here. And right before we started getting sucked in, it was really cool. That was a really cool situation. And honestly, if you guys can go back, what episode was that? 33. You guys should go check it out on YouTube.
It is on the YouTube. I'll answer a little bit as to why I said that later, but because that's not necessarily a spoiler thing. That is more of a personal preference, I think. So, but nonetheless, after the group had figured out what they had wanted to do with the ring and regrouped a little bit, they continued forward to try and follow the shadow to try and see what they could do while it was wounded. However, they were met with a man.
Good riddance. Good riddance.
A man that Odile had a bit of familiarity with after her interaction with the Dryad.
Oh yeah.
Man, we were chasing.
See, it was important to bring that forest off. The tree up.
Yeah. Little did we know that we were chasing him.
Oh yeah. Like, oh, it was you.
Whatever happened to the dryad?
The Dryad
last we
sunk
knew, he was
into the
just
tree.
chilling.
Never to be seen by us again, probably.
Who knows? But, nonetheless, the group is met with a man standing before what seems to be a glass cylinder with a gem inside. During this grueling battle, Odile's mind is taken over. The group fights not only this Beastmaster, but themselves. Odile being somehow the only person to put any damage on Dwindle, manages to make him a dwarven pincushion.
Followed by
Tips, arrows.
damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was awesome, by the way. Very innovative.
I
He
I saw it. I went,
mental.
ooh, I'm gonna use this.
I
Yeah.
just want to say that Odd has used more magic and caused more magic damage on the team than she has on enemies.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But
Whoopsie.
nonetheless,
Hmm.
after a grueling fight, not only does Odile join in the fight against her group, but the Beastmaster seems to evolve into something much, much worse than what he originally was. And the group finally is able to defeat him. However, they didn't seem to defeat the Shadow. As with the distraction of the battle itself, the Shadow managed to cause the body to erupt into flame after May had beheaded the creature. For, reasons to make sure that they got their coin.
I've been holding on to this head for the past 12 episodes.
The victory's in sight. We're almost there.
Getting close.
We're almost there.
Oh no.
We can get a reward and we can get our names cleared. We're this close. Who
Something's gonna
cares?
go
The
wrong.
world's burning asunder. Nah, no. Clearing our names.
It is
That's-
rotted,
That's pure gold,
but
by the way.
Rancid.
the body burns, and within the flames, that smoke begins to grow into a large shadow, and the shadow takes the gem before disappearing with a thank you to the group for their assistance in getting it.
That one scares me worse than the dragon, not gonna lie.
Yep.
And with this, the group now has to figure out where they are still and how to get back to the rest of the group. So, after some time spent trying to get out, they find themselves within the throne room once again, finally, after traveling the halls. And
Yep.
what am I missing? I feel like I am
We
missing something.
Yeah, the
We
introduction of
found
Eddie.
a
Painting.
painting first.
We found the painting. We
Paint.
saw blue light and we ended up
Following
chasing it.
Mhm.
And it led us to the painting where May and Dwindle went in the painting, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, May and Dwindle went into the painting. Odd stayed outside.
Mm-hmm. Where's Nyla?
Still in the
Nyla's still in the
ring.
ring.
Oh, Nyla's. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
And Odile stayed out.
yes. I don't know what you guys did inside the painting
Yes.
before I got in there.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is I eventually gave up waiting, tied a rope to Rovan, went into the painting just to find that the rope disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. I just spilled all my paint. I
Hmm.
just spilled my gold
That's
paint,
ironic.
brand new.
Oh no.
I don't- Yeah,
That's
it's a Christmas present too.
That's
Oh.
pretty ironic, in all honesty, talking about a painting and then James proceeds to spill his paints.
Yes. Yep.
It was such an extremely pretty gold.
It's okay.
Yep. We went
So-
inside the painting
Yeah.
and we
May
met
and
a
Nyla.
little
May and Nyla experience. Not. Yeah.
May and Dwindle.
May and Dwindle. May and Dwindle. There are a lot of things floating around in my head now. May and Dwindle experienced Eddie growing up. Odile experienced the aftermath of Eddie. Kind of on the outside, at least. She experienced the flash of what happened after, before actually following the other two and being shunted to follow Eddie himself. So all three got to experience what Eddie was going and experiencing growing up. Kind of his own little memories and experiences before.
Pretty gold.
That looks like a continent.
That does look like a continent.
A gelatin of gold, and it's now getting on my mat.
Midas's.
Midas touch, yeah.
But the group experiences what seems to be Eddie's memories. His memories of the painting being done, the party outside, the interactions he had with his parents, and the interactions he had with them as he seemed to be able to see them. His new friends, you all, experienced all of this before the memory begins to burn, quite literally and figuratively, as the kingdom itself is brought to rubble. However, you all managed to escape the painting and bring along a friend, quote unquote, at the time. A red-headed young man in royal garb. Eddie, the prince of what once was this kingdom. And thanks to Eddie, you all not only are able to get out of these winding halls, but he leads you to the vault, where he asks you to destroy something for him. Ow.
Do we destroy it? No. No, Odd finds it too pretty.
You all find the wondrous vault of a royal family with magic items as well as items that he gives to each of you based off of your help and what you all asked for. However, Odile finds one item in particular to be very vexing and interesting. So much so that though she was asked if she could destroy it, she decides it's better to keep it in good hands. Now, with a golden claw.
Attacked because of that yet?
Hmm?
Why haven't we not been attacked yet because of that?
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, don't remind him.
It's a giant golden claw.
No, it's small because it fits my hand because it shrinks.
It did,
sees
in
it.
fact, magically shrink to fit her hand.
Oh. So it's actually not large at all. It looks almost like a golden bracelet that goes up into a hand ornament, almost. But it is still pure gold. So that's interesting. But nonetheless, now with Eddie tied to the group, and with you all adventuring and...
That's for clarification. We did not force him. I did not just take the glove
Oh, I
and
know.
force him to stick with us. We asked first. We like, come on, come join us. Why don't you join us? You want to do that? Yeah, cool. Clarification. Continue.
Yes, totally of his free will.
Eddie doesn't have a choice.
I'm really bummed out because of the paint. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
Fair enough.
sad.
We figure out what caused the frozen wastelands too.
Mm-hmm.
As we get to the vault, we find out that it was caused by a dragon that lives under the sea
Mhm.
now. And then we also talk about Eddie doesn't know that there's a war going on, and I think that's a pretty big thing because that's when Eddie asks us to find his
Lineage.
lineage, his lineage.
My players are amazing. They're note takers. I don't have to remember shit.
Yeah.
That's it, Joe.
Also,
Don't mind
Eddie's
us.
last name. Not Eddie's last name. Eddie's child's name is Samantha, and why that's the funniest thing I've ever heard is beyond me.
Eddie had a kid? I thought he died before he had a
No,
wife.
No, he had a wife and a daughter.
Yep.
And then he also brought up the fact that his father had many
Mistresses.
yeah. So there might be some half siblings out there.
Distant relatives.
Or half great grand nieces and nephews.
4 times removed.
I don't know what it is at that point, but something like that.
Yeah.
We learn more about that war too, by the way, and I think it's really interesting.
You did.
Eye-opening.
Yep. Prince Eddie Johns Charles Leonhardt. Or Eddie for short. But this ghostly apparition now joins our group, and the group quickly learns that he is terrified of rats. As while they are running from the festering plague-infested creatures, there is a almost girlish shriek from behind the group, and as they turn, there's only Eddie, and Eddie seemingly makes no comment about it.
Because we were running
Even though we can.
We were running from the dragon.
from the dragon, which we didn't know was a dragon at the time.
Yeah. This was also after the ring spit Nyla back out.
Mhm.
Sometime in the vault.
Yes.
I don't remember
After-
when exactly.
So
that happened.
when Odd got the claw, she put it on, and the magic affected the ring, and the ring was underneath Odd's shirt.
Oh right.
And so all you see is Nyla burst out of Odd's chest, and Odd go, "You owe me a new shirt."
How odd.
And both Eddie and Dwindle are turning their heads away, only for Odd to realize 5 minutes later, "Oh wait, I have mending." Mends my shirt.
Yep.
That happened.
Yep, that happened.
Yep. Nyla got all of Odile out there for a solid 5 minutes before she realized she could clean herself up.
Hey, they gave me her thing so I could cover up. I wasn't that exposed. Though Odd doesn't really have anything really to expose. The joys of being a fairy. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Nyla's back in the group.
Yeah.
I was
Just must
actually-
have tried to steal something that Eddie was going to give him anyway. They wanted it.
I was honestly leading up to that, but I'm so glad that you all remembered. You all learned that Eddie was terrified of rats, while running from them because they were running with you all from the what seemed to be something large enough to move mounds of the gold that were hidden within this vault.
We've all heard way too many stories about what rests underneath gold. Yeah, we were gonna.
Let's not forget, we also got Dwindle his lovely new hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
arguably the
And-
strongest item amongst us.
And
Also,
And
you
I
all-
still
fighting
believe
the
in
claw.
science.
and you all also got a wonderful gift from Eddie that allows you to not have to worry about carrying so much.
Which we
About-
learned
they have,
not
they
to
have to
flip
they have
inside
they have to
out.
worry about stuff. It's all mine.
Yeah.
I'm the one who asked for it.
We were already gonna carry our
Yeah.
stuff anyway, to be fair.
Speaking of, does Dwindle still have that? Oh, Dwindle does still have it. Did Dwindle take it back after his experience?
Yes.
Ah,
I hope
okay.
so.
Yeah,
Or
I
to
was
What a
also
gold
too.
in that
Is-
thing.
Well, I just
Oh.
mean he could have handed it to somebody else within the group due to the possibility of what's in it. But we'll get to that shortly. Nonetheless. After running from whatever was inside this vault, and Eddie quickly as he can, resealing it, the group finds themselves running back with Eddie's assistance to the throne room, where they find the rest of the group has managed to gather, though not all of it. After the group had finally managed to get back and was trying to explain what was going on, the group noticed one was missing from the explorers, the ones that had come with them at least. The Air Genasi of the group seemingly had sacrificed herself to save the rest of her own group. But due to that, much less was lost than what could have been. And now, with a new threat finding itself before the groups, they very quickly try to leave, getting as far away from the ruins as they possibly can, as quickly as they possibly can. After getting a distance away, there's a low rumble. The ground shakes a little bit, and the ruins, one of the spires, explodes. Rubble flying all over the place, narrowly missing the group a few times with large pieces of rubble. And from the tower, a massive set of wings, claws, and scales fly high above the ruins. A dragon has been awakened. And due to it, the group tries to quickly run as fast as possible. Trying their best to stay out of view before the dragon flies over and towards the nearest city, Crestia.
Mm.
The group takes some time to get back to the city. But after getting back to the city, they see just what has happened. A portion of the northern wall has been destroyed. Some of the city itself has been burned. People are searching for respite in tents set up by the guard. And many of the noble families have left. The explorers pay the group for their assistance, and they thank them for the help that they were offered. You all got paid.
No.
No,
We didn't get
no,
paid.
we took money from the vault, but we didn't get
Yeah.
paid.
Nope.
There was no
Correct.
payment. The payment was
right.
in what we found.
You all did get paid by the vault.
Yep.
Very handsomely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we split the earnings with them either.
I gave him a portion.
I gave them some stuff.
Person. A person.
Persian.
You could change your fate, would you?
Yep.
If you could change your person, would you?
No.
But you're right, my bad. After splitting the money a little bit to give them a portion for their losses and making your way back into the city itself, you all began helping the city to recover after looking for people that you all had found important in your own ways. As well as meeting some new people. Someone that seemed to strike fear into Dwindle.
Lord help me.
A female dwarf that had taken the reins. Another artificer. One with an ox for her wonderful companion, much like Rovan, but seemingly more along the lines of its design. And the group began helping as much as they could, where they could, as well as getting a few things done for themselves. After finding out that everybody that they needed to talk to was okay, after doing what little they could for such a massive amount of destruction, and finding out more of what was going on, the group found themselves now helping the city defend against an attack. Within the time that they had stayed within the city, along the northern edge, what seemed to be half-dragons found their way towards the city and began their assault. With the guards as well as the group taking time and a lot of effort, they not only cut down a number of them, but chased the rest into the forest before they had found that with no other exit, they began a fire.
Before Lance set fire to his own world.
I regret nothing. So, with the fire
Let's
roaring...
also not wait. Let's not also forget that in the beginning of that fight, Odd went on top of Dwindle's shoulders and then got hit by a fireball and got knocked out.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused Dwindle to go into a blind rage. I loved it.
And now I
Sorry.
have the image of a flopping Odile just kind of on his shoulders as he's just wildly raging. Her legs just caught in his armor, so she's just.
I fell off of him and then Storm healed me.
Oh, I know. I just like the idea. It's very entertaining to me.
Absolutely.
It is for me then to still go after Dwindle into the forest that's going on fire.
We should get fire. We should get Reigns of Fire Resistance. Like goodness sakes.
Yeah, we should. How many things are on fire?
Mm-hmm.
So, with the group helping to save the city, they now find themselves in the middle of a burning forest, having to find a way out. And somehow it took an entire session, funny enough. But I would say that that's a good thing, considering that meant you all were genuinely thinking about each and individual action, trying to make sure that it wasn't, bad. Or could possibly worse. Yeah. So, you all managed to get out of the fire somewhat unscathed. Odile being unconscious due to it.
I got her out.
Dwindle did, in fact, get her out and heal her, if you ask him. As Nyla, who was in range, used Healing Word, and Dwindle slathered bacon from his pocket upon her.
Yep.
Bacon Ales is officially in canon. Don't worry, I got you. It's just one of us is just dying. He's trying so hard to help. It's gonna break his
So
little
cute.
heart.
So, with
And then you got the cute moment of Odd not wanting to get on Robon and just holding on to Dwindle all the way back to the bar. Odd's like, nope, you have hot metal. This feels nice.
Covered in gore, you name it. Yep.
So, with more exhaustion points and quite a bit of soreness, the entire group managed to help Crestia in more ways than one. And after some preparations and getting everything settled away, the group decided that leaving Crestia and following the dragon to clean up their own mess was probably the best idea, for the most part. Or at least to make sure that their mess wasn't entirely horrid. However, before they could leave, they were met with a familiar face once again, and an apology, as well as an offer. The Tarkin's family heir, now made the family head due to the fact of him being the last of his bloodline to remain.
I wonder what happened to his family. That's kind of rough.
Oh, he had told you all. He pointed to his home, or the home that they were staying in at least, where a massive piece of rubble had basically destroyed it, as well as a solid portion of the city where he lived.
That's rough.
He seemed completely fine with it. Which is... that I'll leave that up to you all to interpret.
Speaks for itself.
So, being the only noble left within the city, it seems, as the other families had noticed the dragon and decided, nope, we're just gonna get the fuck out of here.
Peace.
He was
Fair
left
assumption.
to help the city clean up and had decided to do it of his own volition, it seems. He also apologized to the group and gave them an offer for a sponsorship. This sponsorship seemingly included information, money, and the occasional help if they needed it. Some were skeptical, some were a little accepting to a point, and others were at least brought to thought. However, after all of this, they then began their journey back, traveling south once again to try and see just how much damage had been caused by their awakening of the dragon, learning more about each other, learning more about Eddie, and learning more about the things going on around them. They ran into a small merchant. They ran into a night of quiet that led to learning of Eddie's personal preference in books when he's alone, and a number of interactions between the group that may or may not have made them a little closer. But, nonetheless, the group made their way back down to the south, trying to reach Crows to find out just what was going on and just how bad the damage may have been, only to pass a set of guards to find out that the dragon had seemingly flown over Crows after being told of the capital of Freyant. Now, the group has choices to make, but for now, the closest city for a genuine bed, some good food, and some rest may be Crows, where they will also get their reward if they can find the general that had given them the job. But this is where we have gotten in the Journey of Grandiasha. In 46 episodes, the group has met a shadow figure that has stolen one of the blood gems from them. They have met a Tarkin's family heir made head. And they have made a new companion friend in the form of an incorporeal force. However, that was not all, as on their journey towards the south, they find themselves camping out before they see lights within the forest. Following these lights, some stay, some go. Those that followed the lights find a small village of mushrooms, and within these mushrooms seems to live small sprites. These sprites hide from the group, wary of the giants among them. However, one does not. A figure no taller than Odiel, if not shorter than Odiel, with a rapier and a heart of gold, leaps down before them and makes his presence known. As Garmador, guardian of the garden, introduces himself to those that find themselves in this small village. They learn of Garmador and how the sprites detest him to no end. They learn of what he's truly doing here and that he doesn't actually know where he's from or who he is or why he's here. He's just here. And they also learn that he's very loud. And the sprites seem to make that very clear. Ah, my eye. My headset keeps falling off. Anyway. This winter dandelion, given a choice between staying with the sprites and joining the group decides to take on the small Garmador, guardian of the guard. However, he quickly becomes guardian of the giants, it seems. So, now, with rams, a homemade wagon sled made of metal, a ghost, a winter dandelion, and a lot more items, as well as quite a bit of experience behind them, the group now finds themselves finally reaching Crows.
We're still in the forest, I think.
Yeah.
So
We're still in the forest.
I gotta send those suckers back.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
portal hunting.
Oh, I
We're
think
looking for the portal.
Were we taking like a long rest first? Oh no, we already
Yeah,
did
you
that.
guys already did that. You already took a long rest. May decided to come out there and join me and Eddie, even though I was like, no, I'm fine out here by myself.
But yeah, we introduced Wendell to Carmador.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I immediately threatened it with spit.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
But that is where we now find ourselves at the end of episode 46 of the Journey of Grandiasha. So thank you all for joining us for the recap. Now that that is done, 2 hours later.
Dun, dun, dun.
If there are any questions for the players, for the NPCs, for me, please feel free to ask. I will go on ahead and start it with, to answer your question, or not necessarily your question, but your statement, May, about the shadow and what he said.
Okay, yeah, do that, and then I have something else.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the idea of villains that, like, make the choice of allowing the hostage or the hero go, because of the fact that if you think about it, in that kind of story, the hero that's let go or is freed because it was traumatic enough always comes back to bite the villain in the ass. The shadow was genuinely trying to get rid of you all.
That was really cool. I love that because it gets so repetitive, you see, in modern day media. Like, when they're like, oh, if it weren't for you meddling kids, you know what I mean?
And that's why I made it to where he was trying to quite literally get rid of you all and say, I won't let you.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that that's your take on it, because now we actually have to fight for our lives. You know, like if we don't, then
We're toast.
yeah, it's not like, plot armor. One thing, we missed two things that I probably like my favorite parts in this. We met after we came back, and Tarkin told us about the brooch me, Nyla, and Odile went to the docks and or not the docks. It was like
I think it was just
you
the
know,
two of us after that.
like a ghetto. No, it was all three. It was all three of us.
Yes, that part.
Where we went to the hookah or whatever it was. I'm gonna call it a hookah lounge, cause
Yeah.
you know the den um
Mm-hmm.
with the Doberman guy, the Doberman guard.
Oh yeah, where
Mhm.
because you guys didn't know where to go, I brought you guys over there, and then you guys couldn't talk to anybody to figure out where it is, but yet I was like very easily able to talk to people and get to find out where
Mhm.
the hookah bar was. And you guys were like,
And
she
that
won't talk to nobles, but she'll do this. What's going on here?
I had Thieves Camp, but you looked more the part
Mhm.
and were more comfortable there.
Absolutely.
Times.
And that's where we met Toll, and
Yeah.
he told us about the portal, which I guess we never really followed up on, but I still think it's really cool. That was a cool part.
Mhm.
Oh yes, and how you enjoyed the giant woman.
Yep, I was thinking that
Dang.
too.
And then Nyla tried to. What did you try to do? Did you try to pickpocket or you tried to do something, and it failed miserably?
I did try to heal the one guy and nothing happened.
Oh yeah, that's what.
I think
'Cause
I was really
apparently
tempted to
magic
pickpocket,
doesn't
but
work down
did I
there.
actually try? It does sound like
I
me.
don't remember. And then you guys used a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, I may have spent a lot of money and got no return.
yeah, kind of sucked. But now we got money.
Well, I don't anymore. I
No.
spent it all on my wings.
Dwindle's got the money.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
you guys talking about? He's got his
Dave's
own
got
money.
some money too.
Yeah, Oz got her own money too.
I don't got money, but I do got wings.
Absolutely. And then on our way to the frozen wastelands where we met the lion guy and the little girl,
Yeah, the
Oh
cards.
yeah.
the cards, that was really
Fate.
cool.
I
That
was
was
really hoping somebody would bring that up.
Because that was
Yes.
just amazing.
That
Like,
was
let
so
me bring
cool.
up my notes, pull up my notes on that. Where did it go?
What
Fortune awaits.
What chapter was that? What
That
episode was
was
that?
episode 33, Magical Stories.
In this chapter, we got me.
Oh wait. Nope,
Mm,
wrong one.
What
Wrong one.
notebook?
Take it back.
31, breaking the ice.
Yeah, Breaking the Ice. Oh, I've got a little illustration of A.
Aww.
A. Oh yeah, I forgot
I
I
love
have
him. He's awesome.
correction. I have like 4 different stats for notes.
To learn more
But it's
about
so
this
crazy.
journey, of course, you can always find the VODs on YouTube as well. So if you want to learn more about who A is, or what happened with the dragon or the half dragons, what happened with Eddie, if you want to learn more about these interactions and these characters, please feel free to follow the links to YouTube. We have all of the VODs up. Well, I say all of them. From episode 16 up to 46. That's a lot of episodes, actually. We've got about 31 up now, including a few recaps on there. So, please feel free, hop over there, say hi, like, subscribe. More VODs will go up. I am probably going to be doing more videos on there as well to try and bring more attention to that, so it's not just, just the VODs. So feel free to look at those and catch up with us. The next episode will be next week, of course, if we all are available. And we have obviously done the recap and caught up. So,
Speaking of that, does anyone else go back, watch some of the VODs? And if so, do you have like favorite moments to rewatch? It can be moments, it can be like sequences, it can be whole episodes, whatever. But like, do you have favorites to rewatch?
I definitely think that one with the cards is one of my favorites. Yeah, the one with the cards was a lot of fun.
I don't
That
think
was-
I
that was so
have
cool.
a favorite. Yeah, like they're all just too good, honestly.
Yeah.
We always have a lot of fun.
We do.
Also, I just realized we also forgot to mention our little one shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, the
That was
Batman.
funny.
Oh,
That was so fun.
That's also on there, actually. Now, the
Poor
origin of
Dwindle.
that was Dwindle messing around with the bag of holding and learning that D100 rolls do, in fact, show 1% once in a blue moon. So, that was interesting. If you want to watch that, that's also in the VODs and on the YouTube. So feel free to go check that out. That has a bunch of secondary characters that our lovely players have put together and made into wonderful characters with wonderful stories and wonderful personalities and such. So feel free to go check them out and
Who
go check
totally freaked
that.
out Dwindle.
Oh yeah.
Traumatized is a better word.
Yeah.
Poor
Definitely.
Dwindle.
That was so
You hear a sparrow from a tree.
fun.
Can I see it? What's it made of?
Stuff you'll never be able to afford.
Hmm. Also, I love how it. Oh, one of my favorite episodes was when we were traveling. It was a traveling episode. It's more recent, where after the whole catfish incident, Dwindle and Nyla get chased by a small pack of meese and some squirrels, and I feel like it really came around full circle for Dwindle, who was chasing a squirrel
And then
when he
got
first
chased by
came in,
all the squirrels.
and now he got chased by all of them, and
That's
it's
pretty
stuck in my mind. It plays on repeat.
funny.
Beast.
Mm-mm-mm.
I do love how we're also getting a lot more lore background for all our characters and how our characters are starting to evolve and come closer together, even if they don't realize it.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I can safely say one of my favorite moments still probably, in all honesty, I think still holds the cake for me. Is is now that I've been put on the spot, it's out of my head. It did the thing.
Oh no, did the thing, guys.
I mentioned it last time we did a recap.
It did the refrigerator thing.
I got the spinning wheel of death on my forehead. Ah. I'll remember it sooner or later. I cannot remember now.
Alright, it's gonna happen as soon as you're done. We're done here.
More than
absolutely.
likely. Yeah, exactly, Myth. Just dial up tones. That's it. Oh my god. It's actually gonna bother me now.
Good.
It'll come to you as soon as we start talking about something else.
Probably.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
What were moments, where the emotions or whatever else were like 100% real? Whether it be terror or excitement or whatever
Remor
else.
has. Never has.
Oh, absolutely.
Remor has. No, that was on a sphere. I'm like, I'm expecting one of us to die here.
hmm
That was close.
That's happened in a lot of combats.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a couple of combats that me and May definitely should not have made it out of.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't there like
Nope.
one combat that you were not expecting us to at all? Like you thought we weren't gonna kill. I'm pretty sure it was the Remoras. You were expecting it just to get away. You weren't expecting us to fully kill it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was expecting it to full on get away. No,
I was expecting it to eat one of the group, whether it was yours or the others, and just run.
Oh
Yep.
my
It
god.
got its meal. It's gone.
Yeah.
Did one of us? It escapes me, but did one of us get AN but got out?
Yeah.
No, the gator got eaten.
Yep.
Yeah, the gator.
The
The
gator
gator
got
was
eaten.
about to be run off with.
Oh no, he almost did, but he tore off its tongue. That's why, because
Yes.
I've got a picture, I've got a doodle of him. Ah, I love it. Sorry, this gives me a chance to show off my doodles. It's Lork with a tongue in his mouth. I love him.
Tongue.
Yummy tongue. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Oh my gosh, what was it? One thing that had me like the heaviest I felt as a player was when Nyla went into the ring. I feel like that's the most emotion that my character has felt.
Ah. For character, I think it was that interrogation with Mira. Like, because obviously when the Beastmaster controlled her, she went into a rage, but she didn't, that wasn't her own emotions. But the emotion she was having with the
Right.
interrogation. Josh! Okay, it wasn't real emotion towards you guys, okay? It was real emotions towards other people, but that's besides the point.
Sure.
But then, okay. But that interrogation with Mira, I feel like that was her strongest emotional point, followed by this recent interaction she had with Eddie.
Which one was that? I'm so sorry.
The interaction with Eddie when he was talking about how he's getting more friendly with the group, and then asking about her wings and stuff, and why she's trying to help the pixies. I mean, sprites. I'm
Okay.
doing it.
Absolutely.
Player wise, I have no idea.
Okay. Also, those cards, I think you gave really good descriptions because as a player, as a character, that scared the shit out of me.
I'm glad.
That was a big emotional point too.
I'm
That
glad.
was intense.
I didn't
Very
waste my time then.
absolutely.
Wait, that mean I just realized your cards already started fruition because the Beastmaster was someone similar to how you were, and they said in the card that you were going to meet soon that was similar to you.
I don't know, but maybe. Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Already killed him, so.
Yeah, no.
You
He wasn't
did.
help. They said it said that they would be there to help me.
So. Somebody else.
Myth asks, any moments where you went into a situation thinking, oh, this is going to be easy, that turned into, oh no? Or vice versa, this is going to be difficult to, well, that was easier than expected?
Mm.
A good question.
Werewolf fight.
Oh yeah.
Werewolf fight. I was in full confidence. I'm like, let's go. This is gonna be great. No, this is horrible. Get me out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You did
Mom,
just
pick me up, I'm
switch in like 2
scared.
seconds.
It was like 1, okay, we got this. 2, sure, 3. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, you.
Oh my goodness. This is gonna be difficult part. Was okay, so technically it wasn't like a fight or anything, but when Nyla put the crown on, I was oh my gosh. And it turns
Yeah.
out we just had to die.
No,
And that was
I was
pretty
thinking about that.
freaking
We didn't have to do anything. We just kind of waited.
Seriously, like Oz tried to put on this whole performance so we can get out.
Mhm.
No, 7.
Yeah, no, that was much easier than expected.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun though.
But it's not exactly the same, but I went through both of those things like back and forth a couple of times. The bandits, I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be hard. And then halfway through, I was like, oh, this is going to be way easier than I thought. And then, fun fact, those 2 death saves are still the only death saves I've ever rolled. So I still have a 50% chance, like, what's the word? 50% of all of my death saves have been that one.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
That occasion is the one time I've ever rolled death saves in any of my campaigns.
Oh my gosh. I think that's the only fight that May hasn't gone down in. Was the one
Yeah,
that you went down in.
the one that I
And
went
that's
down in hard.
hard. Oh my
Although
goodness.
to be fair, I should have gone down a lot sooner, if
Mhm.
not for some interesting rolls.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Mm. I think I know my favorite. Not like okay. It's a favorite point in the story. It's not really an episode. It's just like a small it's just something small when we're just having a good time in the tiefling sworn and Dwindle dances with the little girl.
Yes.
That was like the cutest thing and it lives rent free in my head all the time.
I love
I love
that.
it.
We also need art of that.
Absolutely.
We need art of a lot of things.
We need so
Mhm.
many
I
arts.
really still want. I'm still waiting for the day when I can get art of Dwindle going over the edge with the cloak.
Yes,
Yes.
you guys, he jumped. He jumped. Like every time I hear that sound, I'm just seeing that happening.
Oh my gosh. I can see the small animation of it in my head where he jumps the guard like just like the slow-mo with whoosh him in the air. The guards are turning to him looking at it and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And then you just hear and just a big splash
Boom.
and then the guards rush over, look over the edge and it just pans up and you can see the guards and they're like, "Do you just see that?" And then Dwindle just taking off. Like Scooby-Doo just skedaddling.
I can just see all the guards and us poking from behind like those barrels or crates or whatever, just like going,
Oh my
following
gosh.
him, slow motion. Their eyes.
Wait, I just realized. I think there's enough people in our group, minus our companions, to make a Scooby gang. Because obviously Robon would be basically Scooby Doo. Like there's no doubt there. But the rest of us, we would make up the rest of the Scooby gang.
Absolutely.
So now the real question becomes, Who's who?
I have never actually watched an episode of Scooby-Doo. The closest I've gotten is I've watched the episode of Supernatural where they're stuck in Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Dwindle is Fred. Nyla, Daphne. May is, or not Daphne, Velma. Nyla is Velma. May is Daphne, and you know what that leads to.
Shaggy?
I
Yeah.
was
Oh, you
thinking,
know,
like, you kind of got rolled on. It's kind of hard to separate the two of them at the same
Yeah,
time.
you know what? You're right. You're right. I can't separate us.
Oh my
Personality
God.
wise, I'd say that Odile would make a better Fred, considering she's very intelligent in the specific thing that she does.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Nyla is very investigative and very interested in everything, but Odile is very, like, I am good at this thing, and I'm okay with that. And then you've got Dwindle, who, Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his moods.
Gets lost, eats everything.
Yeah.
But we definitely all agree May is definitely Daphne.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, right off the bat, I hate to say it, but she was the one that got captured.
Yes, she was. And almost fed to a cat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Hopefully that's the last time.
Unlikely.
Yeah, it's unlike I agree.
Oh, excuse me, that was loud. I
Oh,
was like, excuse, like, I'm gonna rage.
All of a sudden, seeing Shaggy just full of muscles.
Ultra instinct.
Oh,
Shaggy.
the buff Shaggy.
Yes.
Buff Shaggy.
Yep. Was that from the first one or the second one?
The second one.
Second one, yeah.
Oh boy.
Or wait, no, Monsters Unleashed is the first one.
No, the first one's
Oh, wait, no, because they
There's
split
on,
up.
what? First one's the island.
yeah, the first one's the island. The second one is with all the monsters in the museum. And when Thelma decides to put on a
Oh yeah, don't worry. That was a turning point for me. That's a canon event right there.
You and me both.
Oh, sweet goodness.
For the most emotional moment, like the most emotion I put in, as a DM, it's very difficult to pin down one like emotional moment because as DM, I am playing all emotions. I am the one putting in the emotion for each and every one of these characters, and as DM, I try to put myself in the position of actually like feeling that emotion to a point so that I understand at least a little bit of what I'm trying to explain through that character, so it's not just monotone like, oh no, my family's gone. Best go about my day. Like, however, if I were to put one down, it would be Care explaining what happened to Sarah.
That's
Yeah. As for the this is gonna be easy to this is gonna be difficult, the raid on the city was supposed to be a lot harder, and then Dwindle started hitting shit and getting
You
hit.
gave me
oh my goodness.
and not reacting.
I may or may not have not put enough of the dragons.
Let's see.
I was mostly trying to balance it because I gave each of the mage versions a fireball, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna do a ton of damage. No,
Comes Dwindle.
didn't even finish off some of the guards like I was expecting it to. I was expecting the guards' numbers to go down really quickly and you all to be like some of the remaining ones to try and fight off what's left. No. No, I didn't. I did not roll well.
No.
When you six.
Just don't just accept it. Dwindle is doing Dwindle things.
And I'm very proud of you, buddy.
He's
I
doing
think
his
I
best.
might be able to get Heart of the Angel done today.
What's the progress looking like?
Kind of hard to show.
Understandable.
You could still attempt.
Yeah. The anticipation is killer.
And the main problem is I don't know where to hold it, really. To show. Without getting a lot of paint, and then I had to repaint the spot.
Understandable. Okay, I get it.
How about. And I think I'm going to ask this every recap, but we're almost 50 episodes in, so this is a genuine, like, your thoughts on everything. As a DM, how am I doing?
Doing great.
Very good.
Stop asking yourself this question. You're doing great.
Well, it's a very open-ended question because I ask it like this. How am I doing as a DM? Because of the fact that when I ask this, I mean, do you all feel like the story is coherent? Are you all able to follow it? Do you all feel like this is something that you're enjoying? Are you enjoying the characters, the NPCs, the story itself, the availability that you all have? Am I making enough little side quests that y'all can do if you want? Is there enough interaction? Is there too much interaction? Is there not enough interaction? Is there enough combat? Is there not enough combat? I feel like I'm dwindling the combat thing a little bit just because of how much you all roll for non-combat stuff. But
We like interactions.
Yeah.
We like talking.
and that's fine. But I'd like
It is
I'm
really
just
good.
curious. So, feel free to air out any grievances, anything that you don't like, anything you do like. It's not going to hurt my feelings, and I will do my best to try and mold the game a little bit to try and fix things because I do want this game to be just as enjoyable for you all as it is for me because I already love where this is all going.
Absolutely. You're great. You have great descriptions. You give us so many options that it really helps us like figure out what we want to do. And I think you've really adapted to like how we like to play, I feel like, because we lead a lot of it. So, like I mean you like point the direction and like you like are like, "Okay guys, come on. This way, like you got us like those kid leashes, like you put the kids on the leashes." It's kind of like that. Like we're going everywhere, but you kind of like tug us along.
Oh my
Yeah, no, I think I
God.
love like you give us great stuff to work with, but also like you give us a good balance between exciting stuff to do, to see, to experience, to fight, overcome, etc., etc. But also, you're willing to just like sit back and enjoy watching us roleplay with each other at times. And that's also fun when I just like glance over and you just enjoying watching us.
Yeah, I'm just
You're just like,
Uh-huh.
mm.
So I think it's a very good balance between the two.
that's good.
I always love combat though, so like I wouldn't complain about more combat, but also it's a very good balance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think more combat would help us later on, like growing stronger.
Okay.
Mhm,
That's the one thing.
Okay.
But you do a really good job with it right now.
mhm.
Okay.
But I would never complain about more combat.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
exactly.
Fair enough. I'll keep
Mhm.
that in mind.
I
Mhm.
actually thought of something while you guys were talking, and I just realized there was something that I'm pretty sure Will this in for a long time into this campaign until eventually he realized nope, nope. He thought was going to be easy, which was keeping the group together
That's impossible.
and not separating every 5 seconds.
It is
Because he
funny.
even made the arena was supposed to be for all 4 of us. He's like, okay, I'm gonna have all 4 together. We're gonna do this. Nope, nope.
No.
It's so funny having this set like be the foundation for all the other campaigns that I'm in because everyone else that I play with in other campaigns is always like, don't split the party, don't split the party, don't split the party. And like, I started out with a campaign where we cannot, for the life of us, stick together.
Nope.
We're always
So I do
separated.
it way more casually than like anyone else in any other campaign.
Absolutely.
So funny enough about that, you can ask James. I have always had groups that do one of two things. That mentality of just don't split the party. And those are the parties that normally it's players like James who have more experience with Dungeons and Dragons overall. They have this experience of, they've been DM, they've been players, they've been both, and they understand that there are certain things that the DM can do to keep the party together, or they can just have issues because the party doesn't want to stay together. I, as a DM, have no issue whatsoever with you all splitting the party. At all. In all honesty, I kind of expected it because you're all very excitable new players. And I love that. It makes you want to do something that your character would do. It makes your character like May and Nyla when they went off. It makes you want to discover what's going on in the pet shop or what's going on with that manager, what's going on under the warehouse. And I've never really worried about balance, as you can clearly tell. I like
I
making you all feel powerful, but at the same time, I'm realistic in the sense of there are places like the Remoras. If I had rolled better, one of the characters would have died.
Mm.
Whether it was one of y'all's or the Gator, whoever was closest was probably going to die. Dwindle went down in that fight simply because of the fact that it put off so much passive damage and active damage that he was knocked unconscious. So,
was terrified of the fight. Period.
mhm.
It's a
So
terrifying thing.
when I say that I don't mind you all splitting up, I simply mean you can split up as much as you want. You can explore as much as you want. You can do whatever you like. However, there are certain things that I will not balance. The battle arena, I had originally balanced it for all 4 of you to be there. I balanced it down for 2 of you because of the fact that it was something that your characters wanted to do, you as players wanted to do, and it made sense. And Dwindle and Odile were off doing their own thing as well that they wanted to do, and it made sense for them to be doing that as well. So, because they didn't want to get caught up in what May and Nyla were caught up in, which makes sense. You all hadn't known each other very long that time. At that time, you all split the party, so I balanced it a little bit. However, I didn't make it easy. I don't feel like.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So,
But also, that was one of my favorite combats to date.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Everything
like,
leading up to it too. Like from the chase
uh
scene
huh, uh huh,
to the like the goons, the what are they called? The
henchmen.
bandits, the henchmen. Yes, to the henchmen, to the cage with the big sloth thing, and to us going up and
uh
like
huh.
I could still see it in my head, like the stands of the arena, the people wearing their masks, and just it it's so cool. It was so
I
awesome.
I think that whole sequence is still my favorite sequence.
It
of
was.
May and Nyla doing that thing underneath or under the ground up to the arena. Actually, up to their conversation together. That whole sequence of the two of them, I think, is still my favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
Which,
There you go.
Oh yeah, because we talked afterwards. Yes.
yeah,
Oh, that is awesome. Oh my
that
god.
is so cool.
Holy
I like how
cow.
he's pinching him on the little wings.
It's the only place I can hold, man. It's the only place I can hold.
Makes
Oh my
perfect sense.
And I'm literally painting it like this. It is a. The main problem is I don't have the right paint for the wings. I'm doing a think of an eagle's wings.
Oh.
Nice.
So it's gonna be black, brown, and
Very nice. Very nice. I can't wait to see when it's done.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm gonna move on to the rocks now, personally, because I'm
Okay.
pretty much done with this.
very nice. But
Another.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Continue, Will. I apologize.
you're fine. I am glad that you all enjoyed that sequence.
Absolutely.
Can I note something as like bringing it back to earlier?
Mhm.
Well, I don't be afraid to give us very close calls like that, or like
Oh, trust me, I've tried.
I know
Like
it's
I
probably
said, the fireballs were supposed to do damage. I was supposed to kill off more guards than I did,
hard.
and then you all were targets because you were in the middle of the fray. That did not happen.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
whether or
And
not it's
then-
on purpose or accident, please feel free to scare the crap out of us because we love it.
Oh yeah, I definitely tried to clean it up and balance it with the fire.
Wendell.
So, the
You know.
I think the only issue I really have is with D&D it's very difficult to do chase scenes that feel like chase scenes. So that's why I was giving you so many athletics checks and stuff like that to try and make sure your character stayed standing and stayed ahead. It really is just difficult to do chase scenes in general because like with other games you have like quick time events, and with other ones you have like just you have to run as fast as you can and just dodge items that are in your way. With D&D it's okay, my character moves 60 feet forward. Okay, the creature has 80 feet of movement. It's going to catch up. But
Oh my.
the idea of having the characters like roll athletics checks to, try to stay ahead without exhausting themselves, I was hoping that felt fun for you two because of that. So,
It really, really did. It felt very real and very just like I don't know. It felt very real. It was great.
No, absolutely.
good.
The one thing is, I think we really benefited from splitting the party that time, because while we were off doing that, and it did make sense because we didn't know Odile and Dwindle very much, but me and Nyla did, and so them sticking together and figuring out, what was going on with the tree, because I think that really helped us with, meeting the explorers and eventually the Beastmaster. Like, I feel like it's really well rounded itself off.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Also, the fact that the other two definitely did not have enough like trust in us to
Oh,
go. Yeah.
It's more
absolutely
of
not.
from the Dwindles and Oz point. They're not stupid. They have plenty of experience. Dwindle, he's like sure he might be not book smart wise, but he's a guard. He's a retired guard, or not even retired. He knows he doesn't want anything to do with what you guys have gotten yourself in because it could probably lead back to his family.
Mm,
He knows
makes
that.
sense.
Imagine having a family.
Right,
Right, Nyla?
I know, right?
right, May.
Uh,
Yeah. Whereas Nyla really like she does not care what happens to her as long as her friends are safe.
Mhm.
Just part of the reason why the arena part was so cool too. Also leads me into sort of another question, which what was like a big turning point for your character? Where
That's a
you
you
don't
guys
necessarily
question. I'm
know
DM. I got like 18 to 24 different characters.
like you don't know exactly where those choices will lead yet, but like clearly it's gonna make an impact whether it's now or later on. if you want, I can go first while you think about it.
The dragon being released
Yeah.
was a really big turning point. Yeah, leaving the castle and seeing the dragon, knowing what was in store for whoever it came across was a big point for May.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was definitely the arena combat for Nyla. Thinking that she was about to die with May on the ground, going to die because she can't save her, and then deciding to accept Skia for the first time in years of being tempted by him.
Absolutely.
That's
Oh,
how
no.
realistic that.
I'm glad that's paint.
Me too.
You know, that's really realistic.
Yeah, that was concerning for a sec there.
What about you, James? What's a turning point for Dwindle?
Funny enough, he hasn't really changed.
Really? Not even like an outlook.
Humanity's still stupid.
That's a fair point. For Dwindle, yeah.
It's kind of worthwhile being outside, I guess.
What? Okay. Well, I've got a question for Dwindle after, but you.
How about we rephrase the question here? What is, instead of turning point, like the broad statement of turning point, what is a decision that your character has made or has thought of making or was forced to make that made them really think about how they think about things?
That's a big. That makes it a much deeper question, doesn't it? And of course, James just wanders off.
To make it a little easier, it could be something simple like, well, meeting Garmador kind of showed me that no matter where you look or what little piece of the continent you look into, there's always going to be some sort of good, so why think everything's bad? Or something as profound as seeing the city destroyed, I realized with every action comes consequence, and so on and so forth. Like that kind of thing. What action, inaction, choice, statement, whatever it was.
Or even like a moment of realization, like, oh, hey, I guess I do actually care about this group that I ended up,
Kind of.
you know.
It doesn't
Like
even
up
have to
until
be
now,
just
I thought
about
I
the
was
group.
relatively indifferent, but
Question again. I'm just dealing with paint.
Well, we rephrased the question from the broad statement to kind of this situation. You were saying like how Dwindle hasn't really changed as much. He hasn't really changed how he thinks or what he sees or how he reacts to what's going on around him. But as a DM, I'd say you're lying. Now, here's an easier way to rephrase the question so that you can see that you're lying. What is an action, inaction, statement, whether it was your own or someone else's, or a thought that has changed how your character thinks? Changed how your character thinks about things that they've thought about. It could be something as simple as, like I had made the examples of, it could be something simple like meeting Garmador shows that no matter where you look, even in the most blizzard-filled corners of the world, there's some sort of good. So that's a good thing. That's a positive thing to think about. No matter where you go, where you look, no matter how negative it seems, no matter how cold, dark, so on and so forth, there's good. Or it could be something as profound as going through Crestia after, the destruction and seeing all of that destruction and, seeing the people that didn't make it versus the people that did and mourning. There are actions, there are reactions, and there are consequences for each and every one. And so your character thinks more deeply about that. Like something like that. Something that causes your character to rethink how they think. Just a little bit.
I have another one based on that prompt more. Of just, I mean, it's not exactly a specific moment, but Nyla is starting to realize that Skia might not be at fault. It might actually be something else, and Skia might actually be there to protect her.
I guess not all elves are bad.
I think
Two,
that's really
I've noticed that if you're rephrasing it that way, he cares a. He's kind of surprised about how much he actually cares about the outside world outside of Flame and Broth.
I have one for Dwindle. I don't think you've realized.
Shoot.
He doesn't hate all magic anymore.
Correct. Hammer has corrupted him.
Oh no.
The
I
hammer.
know.
I know.
He still doesn't like magic. He doesn't like. He never said he hated all magic.
No, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah.
He said all magic's bad magic, and then Odd like pointed to herself, going, "So what am I?"
You have quite literally word for word said all magic's bad magic.
Yep. I think multiple times.
Yep.
So there's I guess then slowly going under your ideal. Maybe not all magic is bad.
Yeah.
He still don't like it though.
Especially after the bag incident.
Yeah, also along the same lines, is there a moment that your character realized that, oh, I actually do care about this group rather than just using them as a means to an end?
He's always cared about the group. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, have you not noticed? He's always paying for everybody's meals. He's always paying for everybody's lounge, and he cares about you guys, your companions, if you like it or not. You didn't adopt him;
Aw.
he adopted you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully feel like Odd's still there yet with the whole group, but she is definitely warming up a lot more with Dwindle. I mean, she even made that little emblem thing for him for his hammer that he didn't use. But I don't feel like she's really warm. She's still like really distant with the group, especially May. Sorry.
Which,
May.
funny
Love you,
enough,
Kiv.
that's okay. No, May's something else. She's something else. Which is funny you say that because I think there's been a moment for May for each of you that she's come to realize, like, oh, they actually are. I enjoy these people. These could be or are friends. Um,
You okay?
I don't know. I keep hearing shit and it's freaking me out. Apologies. Like, first and foremost, I think it was that conversation after the arena with Nyla that May actually realized, hey, she's a friend, but she didn't show it necessarily. Like, it was more so like, this is trouble. Like, we could be friends. This is gonna be trouble. And I think that's why May reacted so badly, and upset Nyla with that. That was that one, right? That May was just
It was,
like, no, I think that was the
yeah,
second
that
one,
was the other
the
one,
second time.
yeah.
But that drinking part was really good. And then
was so
when
good.
May followed Odile to that park. Do you remember that?
Way back in Crows.
Mm, I don't know if it was Crows or Crestia.
Oh, when she
Oh
went
wait, no,
from
Junior.
the prison to the back of
No,
the
no.
shop, cried, and then went to the park.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
When May went to search for Odile.
I did not know you did that.
Yeah, well,
But then later you went back to the tavern and then later came back for me at the park and talked to me while Roman was running through the tall grass and nipping at butterflies.
yeah, I think that talk really showed. And then when Dwindle fell in battle, with the Remoras was a big one too.
Dang, cheated.
Like, oh my gosh, he's not just an indestructible force of nature. You know, like he's a real person, and as much as he's a pain in the butt to May, like he's a friend. I think she enjoys like the banter with him, you know. And it's really shown just all these small moments that like it's possible to like care about people, and you know, and it reinforces that connections are available.
He's a pain in the ass, but he's my pain in the ass.
Exactly.
Exactly. I love that. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mhm.
To be honest, I'm probably blind to whatever odds growth thing is right now. I really can't think of anything. Like the only thing I can kind of think of is how she recently told Eddie she doesn't view him specifically as noble or royal anymore. Otherwise, she's still having that huge grudge against nobles and royals. She still dislikes them, will still hide away from them. Eddie, she's like, you're just a person now.
Yeah, that's growth. I think that counts.
Otherwise, I think I'm just blind to any other growth she's doing.
You are blind, because
You're more tolerant of the others, like I have.
you're much more tolerant, and you're kinder. You feel more worried when they go down or they start getting hurt. I've noticed.
Yay!
I mean, you also trusted Dwindle when you all were in the fight with the dragons or the half dragons. So
Yes, and I allowed him to carry me all the way back to the barn.
So she is growing. Not
Absolutely.
physically, but she is growing.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I have that spell, and I know when I'm using. I have a plan. Yes, spell, and I have a plan for it. If the occasion never actually happens. Otherwise, it'll just sit there forever.
Regenerate takes a couple of days, by the way.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Regeneration takes a couple of days to take effect.
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
I have no idea.
Confusion.
No,
Confusion,
I'm talking
right,
about.
Because we have full hot and hive of scroll of regeneration.
May has that scroll. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about my own personal spell I have on file.
I have no idea then.
Very good.
It's a fun little surprise. That I had once thought of using on Dwindle too.
Please
For
use
the
them more
opposite
for me.
effect.
Oh no, Nyla has that.
What do I have?
Nyla's got.
Enlarge
got-
on me on a barbarian is terrifying. Please use it.
I was going to enlarge. I was going to shrink. I was going to shrink Dwindle and then put him in my pocket.
Pocket barbarian.
Literally.
Everyone
Oh,
has a
then you
pocket
would literally
ticket.
be a little land lurchin.
Yes.
Oh, yes, please do. They would absolutely love that.
You would
You
love
could
it.
throw
We would
him.
all love it except for Dwindle. Dwindle would go, you made me smaller.
It's just like you're gonna look at your feet and you're gonna see a full-on building. I made myself home.
A tiny
Pocket war.
Dwindle in full armor. A giant belly button. That would hurt. Thankfully, we don't have to fight. We aren't fighting any Goliaths in the next
Now
session.
Why did you say
I'm
that?
going to go on ahead and have to do the math now of how to put damage to a dwarf that's been thrown while reduced and suddenly being let to go back to normal mid-flight.
So it's the velocity. Like that's like he's going fast. So if he's like it's bigger, like
Call
that's
the Dwindle
like
Ball.
like full Ant-Man thing, like
Yes.
like the Force. Oh, that's some. Yeah, I would look into it now.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna we're gonna make it happen one day. One day it'll happen.
The Dwindle Bolt.
Pocket
Yep.
Dwindle.
The peasant dwindle gun.
Dwindle's dead though. I can't.
It's like, oh, never mind. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have to do that math if I start getting really into it. Nope. Anywho. How about this?
That's about
Shiny.
finished.
Beautiful.
That's pretty
Ooh.
much finished, actually.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice. Very nice. How about this? It's a very simple question, but for those of you that are new to D&D entirely, are you happy that this was your first experience?
Yes.
Yes.
And for those of you that have played D&D before, are you happy that this is something that you're experiencing?
Yes. It's absolutely
Absolutely.
fun.
Okay.
Right there.
I've learned so much more. I feel like I've grown a lot of my skills, and I really feel like it has to do with all of you. Like, Will, you're an awesome DM, and like Clementine, James, Nyla, you guys are all so much fun. You guys got such bright personalities, and it's so much fun to play. You guys just make this whole experience, this whole game, so much more than what I thought it could be. And I don't mean to get all sentimental, but it's really, really changed a lot in me, and I really appreciate you guys, because not only has this game become so much more fun, and but it's this past year it's helped me so much, and I am so grateful to all four of you. So thank you.
We love you, Kiv.
You guys.
So much love.
I'm glad. I'm glad. You all are wonderful people, so very glad that I can run a game like this that you all enjoy and we can actually keep up with it and move things along no matter how slowly. No matter how slow, no matter how fast, you all
Yeah, are
move
we
things
leveling up
along.
anytime soon?
Seriously. I'm dying to be level 7. I'm dying.
I know.
When was the last session we leveled up in?
The Remoras.
Oh yeah.
That was a deserved level, though. Holy crap.
It was. It definitely was.
Oh,
Wait,
absolutely.
how many sessions ago was that? 16 episodes.
It's been 16? We're
This is
due.
46. Ramirez was level 30, episode 30.
Simple. We're free to 4th level spells. It's not. It's a very big
Oh,
power
yeah.
spike. He has a massive power spike.
Mm-hmm.
Like level 3 spells. Wow, they're terrifying. Level 4, however. Oh boy. Not to mention, I go faster as a barbarian, so they have a much harder time running away and getting away from me. Yeah, that's terrifying.
I think I will only get level 3 spells because I'm multi-class. So I still
I
only
only
have
have
level 2
level
spells.
2.
I only currently have level 2.
Artificers sadly don't get really any spells, so.
So I have plenty of spells. I have plenty of spells. I'm just at level 1 and level 2. That's it.
Yeah, the highest I have is level 2 also. Thank you.
But I'm still excited for level when we level up to 7 because of a super cool thing I can do in the middle of a battle.
I have no idea what I'm going to do at level 7.
I have no idea, but now I'm interested.
I have no plans.
Well,
I don't even know what I'm doing at level 6.
It's cute.
I'm glad. And like I said, though these sessions are only 3 hours and we only have 3 hours to play, it is very fun to move things along with you all how we have. It's slower than what I'm used to because of play-by-post being as easy as it is to move forward, but with session games like this where it's every week and we actually sit down and we get to play, this is fun. This is genuinely great, and I'm glad that I'm able to make time like this for you all. And I am glad that you all enjoy it. I genuinely am. I started getting a little worried with how the story was going and how much excitement there was because of the fact of, everything going on with how much there is, but then I started to kind of realize there's not a whole lot going on. It's just I've been giving you all a little bit of everything like on the side to do. And now you've got only 2 really like big issues, like the dragon and the shadow. And
Which we are way too low to fight, so
but
we find something to do.
I think we've actually accomplished some of the tasks on our to-do list at this point.
Yeah.
Took a while for us to
Exactly.
actually, check some off.
And now you all have the option of, helping these sprites and whatever they're doing, and you have other options of things going on, and I had to really like sit down and think about it, and it's like, in all honesty, I've given you all a lot less than what I normally would for groups. It's just there's always so much going on that you all are doing that it's hard for me to remember that, because I always feel like I'm overburdening you all with how much you can do. But
We give ourselves a lot to do sometimes.
Oh yeah.
We just accept all of the quests.
You're like, oh, you have a quest? We'll take it. Oh, you have a question?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go. Oh, thank you.
There was a
That's
point where we were
enough
like, oh, dear.
slices!
We will not be able to get all of this done. It will be.
I have sat down and kind of realized that you all are cleaning up everything that you've been wanting to do, all these little side quests that I've set up, and how I've managed to kind of round them out to, most of them round out to kind of finish themselves off, or they connect to something else. And I am glad that you all are playing through that stuff and doing all of that and growing as characters and getting closer as a group and, interacting with everything that you're wanting to interact with and learning more about the world and stuff like that. Because there are groups that don't do any of that. You can ask James. We've had groups that literally just run headlong into whatever fucking moves and they don't ask questions, they don't talk to anybody, they don't talk to NPCs. It's pulling teeth trying to get them to do basically anything like that. But with you all, I have to come up with a name for every NPC, a backstory for them, what they're doing, what they do in the game, and I don't hate it. I actually really enjoy it. Not in the sense of please keep doing it, but when it makes sense, I do
don't have to
create that character for the interaction. Most of the time, though, they are little background characters. They don't do a whole lot, they don't add a whole lot, but they are characters that you can interact with. I'm not going to promise that I remember every single name. I'm really gonna have to look at y'all's notes to, like, remember names, because I'm gonna be real with you. I have already forgotten all of the NPCs from Crows.
Yeah, I don't have to worry. You never have to worry.
That's
about
only
them
half of
ever.
the list of
Yep,
NPCs.
yep. And that's
The
just
one
because
I-
of the fact that that really is just because you all want to interact with the world, and it's wonderful. It makes me feel happy to have created a world that y'all want to interact with. So, I am glad about that. But
The one side
nonetheless,
quest that's gonna bug me and Nyla is that the locket was never found.
The brooch?
The brooch. The brooch was never found.
I
We'll
know.
find it eventually.
I hope it rounds
I
up.
hope so. I am determined to find that and to give it to Tarkin to prove him wrong.
Absolutely.
I like the beat.
One day. One
So,
One day, yes.
Will, question.
answer. Let's see if they match.
Did that memory ever come back to you?
Oh yeah, that is a good question.
I'll take that as a no.
day. What's your favorite part, Will?
Just thinking about it.
What is your favorite part?
Thinking about it.
I brought the dial-up back. My bad.
Getting nailed down again.
Hmm.
Oh, what if we gave him like little hints? Just little things.
Whose
don't know what
character
they-
did it involve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least primarily.
Hmm.
Remember whose
Don't remember who it
character?
was.
Well, the real issue is that it doesn't really involve just one character.
Was it more than one of us working together?
What was the scenario?
I think my favorite part has to be you all working as a team so fluidly during the battle with all of the half dragons. Because even though you all say that your characters may or may not get along or may not care about each other, going into that fight, you all trusted each other immensely for what you were doing, how you were doing it. You didn't have to say anything or do anything. You just assumed one of the other ones had your back on it. Dwindle got upset that Odile got hurt. Odile was kind of touched by Dwindle, going ape shit over her getting hurt and then saving her afterwards. May and Dwindle worked amazingly well in the front line together. Nyla, of course, was backing all of you with the longbow.
I was trying, but I was rolling really poorly that combat.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. It's all right.
I rolled so well to land on that one guy's shoulders, and then I tried to inflict wounds, and nothing happened.
Yeah. It's all right. But it was just the idea that your characters are growing subconsciously as well, whether you realize it or not, how your characters interact subconsciously. Your characters may not entirely like each other to a point of like, oh man, I see these people as family, but you all trust each other to a good point. So,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
One of my favorite moments so far definitely
That's
has
some
to be
growth.
us messing around with Odell.
Which time?
Did it. We need
Every
to get her
time.
to the hospital.
No, you were messing with
Oh
Nyla.
yeah. We were
Oh,
messing with
Nyla.
both of you.
Oh,
That too.
that was really funny.
Mhm.
I think that's literally the only time.
I'm serious. Please
That's the
don't.
only way they can actually communicate normally with each other. No, no, it has to be talking fun about somebody else.
Mhm. May and Wendell actually getting along
Has to
by
be
picking on other
sarcasm that
people.
goes over at least someone's head. Yeah, that was really funny.
that's probably my favorite part so far.
That's not the one you were thinking about. Timing doesn't line up.
No, it doesn't. You said it's been one for a while. Like,
Yeah, when you
even in
mentioned the
past
last
recaps.
Yeah. It's probably my newest one, but I have a lot of favorites. I think I've told you all that before. I have favorites for each and every one of your characters. And then favorites overall for each of you. But
Any new favorites since last recap?
You just gave one of the.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh
battle.
yeah, no, I meant other. I mean, any more new favorites?
Probably the vault.
Mhm.
You all
The drop.
being as happy as you were.
How could I not be happy? You gave me one of the strongest weapons in the game.
As much as I hate doing the voice sometimes, Garmador.
Love
Honestly, earlier when you were talking about Garmador, I'm like,
Garmador.
say it, say it, say it, say it, say the line,
Garmador.
say the line,
Say the
say
line,
the line.
say the line, say the line.
Yes.
He's one of my more favorite characters, or NPCs, my newer favorite ones. And then
Oh, he's.
probably you all interacting with. Ow. You all meeting and interacting with Lord.
I have
Lord was
oysters.
interesting.
Lord
And-
just stresses me out. In full honesty.
Lord and Dwindle's interactions were hilarious.
Uh-huh.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Lord meeting Eddie. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Quite literally.
Well, I'm not paid well enough to care anything about what's going on there.
Lord's whole personality is a mood.
It really is.
It's true.
Oh,
Lord
my
is
goodness.
just the.
So, a question. What is something that we are looking forward to in the future of Grandiasha?
Trauma.
Lore.
Trauma and lore. That's.
Okay, more specific.
Testing out
like
absolutely
more
everything.
specific. Yes. I'm excited for going back to Tem and seeing that goblin, hopefully. Not the goblin, the gnome.
Avoiding the goblin
Yeah.
is what I look forward to.
Gnome from
Avoiding the
Tem.
goblin with
No.
everything fiber in my being. That
Oh
thing
my God.
scares me. In
The
multiple
gnome.
campaigns, it's just a evil
No,
thing.
not
It
Mira.
should be
The
put down.
Oh, the goblin.
That thing needs to be put
I
down.
hope we don't.
yeah, we
I
want to go back to the jewelry maker
the
gnome
jewelry
from the
maker.
first couple of episodes.
Aw.
I don't think we ever got his name,
I
or
don't
we
know if
did, but
No, yeah, we did, but we
don't
don't remember it.
yeah,
I'll have to dig through my notes, but I don't think I do have it.
yeah, I don't think so.
I'm also looking forward to just like the accumulation of everything happening with Skia and the other shadow.
Absolutely, knowing more about Ski in the Shadow.
Uh-huh.
Excited about going home. Home is on the way.
Are we going to Flaminbra?
Yeah. Are we gonna meet your family?
Are we gonna meet all the kids?
Please.
Are we gonna meet
Let us
Sarah?
meet the kids.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Sasha.
that little
Sasha.
alcoholic.
Sasha.
Sasha. Not really.
Alcoholic.
I'm like, I don't know who
Problem.
Sarah
She's only
is.
20.
Where have you been?
I can't
Will,
wait to
are you
move to the
realizing
other
you're gonna
room
have to play
before.
Sasha?
No, that's not the issue. I'm realizing I'm going to have to role play 7 different dwarfs.
Well, you know, I have a
Please.
full dwarven stronghold to roleplay out.
Oh, I know.
Hello,
I'm
brother.
saying
Hello,
the
brother.
ones that know Dwindle, I'm going to have to roleplay out.
You
Ah.
got 25 to do. Congratulations.
Wonderful.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Oh, God.
Something to kind of look forward to.
Possibility of death?
I don't know.
Quite
if
high.
it's-
What are we waiting for?
I don't know if this is ever gonna happen, but I'm really hoping and looking forward to passing the Serpent Sea if we ever do that. Like going across the Serpent Sea.
I have yet to have a group do it. So,
I
It'll be a
I
long
want
journey.
so
We
bad.
we've also had a really hard time moving actually the story
Right?
along far enough to actually do so.
Mhm,
nonetheless.
mhm.
We have not covered a lot of ground in this place, have we?
No, not yet.
Now we're just
He's got a full
backtracking.
upper continent, by the way.
Mhm.
Done. He's
Yeah.
a full upper continent above this. Done.
Mhm.
I do keep on picturing the frozen wastelands elsewhere. I feel like I keep on picturing them closer to the mountains.
But nonetheless. With the recap done and the Q&A very eventful, it is 11:05. So, as much as I hate to say it, I think that's where we're going to call it. So, I hope to see everybody next week for the continuation of the Journey of Grandiasha as the episode of 47 begins. But nonetheless, I hope you all enjoyed our recap as well as our Q&A, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, since this will be on YouTube now. Put them in the comments. Feel free to join in on chat and say hi or ask questions as you feel the need to. And remember to follow the fireflies. You never know what stories they may have. We'll keep the campfire warm, and we hope to see you in the Will-O-Wisp woods next time in the Journey of Grandiasha. Good evening, everybody. The Wisps are saying bye once again after almost 3 weeks of not playing. So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Illan tullen ei sinne muut ohdi astua jalallaan. Kenet parantajan sai, vaikkei sit tiedä kuka muu. Kasvot peloin puhuu vain, kun kulkee ohitse muun. Noiden